and welcome to yet another episode with Dr. Nancy. I am joined by one of the upcoming psychologists and Mercy with whom I work with, and we'll be looking at anxiety.
Thank you so much, Dr. Nancy, for having me here today. I've been watching your videos and they've really illuminated more on mental health. And this topic of anxiety is something that as young people, me and my friends, we go through a lot. I'd really like to understand, what is this anxiety and is it as bad as it seems?
It's surprisingly, you're saying it's young people who go through anxiety. Let me say it is everyone who goes through anxiety, young and old. So anxiety is a normal emotion that everybody goes through.
So you mentioned some of the symptoms of anxiety, and I can tell because I've gone through them as well. Would you mind mentioning some few others that others could relate to as well?
Yes, when we talk about anxiety, there are quite a number of symptoms that people would go through, but this depends on individuals. So the most common ones probably I would mention is palpitations, breathlessness, shaking or trembling, feeling constricted. You feel like the throat is constricted and you're not able to breathe. There is restlessness. People are not able to sit still or even be able to sit and focus on something. Some will go or experience nausea. Others will have dizziness, and sometimes it really gets worse. Some people feel like they are dying, and can have suicidal thoughts. So sometimes it can be very debilitating.
Anxiety is normal for everyone, and we all go through it in one way or another. But how can you tell when it becomes worse and therefore becomes unhealthy for us?
Good question. Actually, there is what we call healthy or normal anxiety and unhealthy or abnormal anxiety, or what would actually end up talking about as anxiety disorder. Normal anxiety is that which gets us going about our life. You have an exam, so you want to pass and do well. So the anxiety and the worry of failing will get you to get waking up early and reading for your exams. There's something you do because of the normal anxiety that gets your life moving and gets your life going on. So that is normal and healthy anxiety. Actually, when people have no anxiety at all, it is quite worrying because all they will do is probably just lie in bed and do nothing. And therefore, their lives almost becomes a bit helpless. But then when somebody remains anxious for a long time with the symptoms that we talked about, and this starts interfering with their functioning, they start experiencing insomnia, they start their attention or concentration on their studies or their work is already affected, and they actually start avoiding things that they were enjoying before. They don't want to be with their friends, they are isolating themselves, and then generally that interferes with their functioning. Then at that point we'll be saying that is unhealthy anxiety and somebody may need to seek help.
In this day and age, I would say for myself and a lot of my friends, we've been plagued with this thing called social media. And I know, in fact, right now as I speak, there's a photo I posted and it's not getting as many likes as I thought it would have. And I don't know, I'm wondering, is that possible? Does that give you anxiety? Is it a cause? And are there other triggers of anxiety?
You have rightly put it that you are concerned whether it will get enough likes. That's a worry, and anxiety is a worry. And indeed today we are saying there is what we may actually call social media anxiety. And it is not just plaguing young people like you're saying, even the older ones as well. Because it's like people are sort of living their life in the social media somehow. So you do something, you post it. You buy a car, you post it. The way you're talking about posting a photo or something you're doing. And the more likes your photo gets, the more you feel liked. And it's very interesting because it's not you, it's your photo that people have liked. It may be the background of your photo people have liked. So that may cause a lot of anxiety because the fewer likes you get, and probably I could be asking you, when you're not getting many likes, what do you tell yourself?
Yeah, we start to wonder what was wrong with the photo, or what was wrong with me that someone else should have more than me.
There you go. It's a thinking process that is very negative because it's a lie that you have told yourself. Because people have not given me many likes, then they don't like me as a person. And you're likely to keep ruminating on that thought. That will become an anxious thought and a worry thought. And now you'll be very anxious, thinking, what do I need to do? Do I need to put more makeup? Do I need to buy another outfit? What do I need to do so that my photo, the next one I'll post is going to be liked? So that sort of living life out there and wanting to get all this attention that is almost fake in a way is indeed causing a lot of people anxiety. Besides generalized anxiety disorder, there are also what we may actually call situational anxiety. That is according to the situation or an event. There are also phobias, and this can be very specific. Phobia is just too much fear of something. So some people have phobia for heights, phobia for reptiles or for insects. So they will have a lot of anxiety when they are in a situation where these things are. There are people who may have fear for certain places or certain spaces, and therefore that will cause them to worry a lot and experience all the symptoms we talked about.
So now I know that anxiety is just as normal an emotion as all other emotions. But are there other causes of anxiety that can lead it to being an unhealthy form of anxiety?
Sometimes we'd say that there is no known cause of anxiety per se, but it can be triggered by many things. One is if someone is genetically predisposed, they come from a lineage or a family where people have this, for example, specific phobias. A child who grew up seeing their mother, jump around or fear snakes or fear insects, they're likely to have the same phobias as well. Someone would go through traumatic experiences like molestation or abuse or rape. These are situations that would cause people to experience anxiety a lot in their life, especially when these situations or these traumatic experiences have never been resolved. Even accidents, for example, that you notice if you had an accident and at a particular spot, that maybe when you're near that space, you may almost always feel very hyper-aroused and hyper-vigilant as well.
Is there help for anxiety disorders, and if there is, where can we find it?
There is a help for anxiety, and it's one of the mental health conditions that sometimes could be quite easy to treat because this can be done at home. People don't need to see professionals all the time. And one of the best ways is a lifestyle change, just ensuring that there are certain things you're doing in your life to dissipate the anxiety. Like exercise, for example, is a best way of relaxing the body. A healthy diet, observing a healthy diet. And a healthy diet doesn't need to be an expensive diet. It could just be your plate of rice and veggies, and taking enough water every day. Ensuring that you're avoiding stimulants such as caffeinated drinks. These are energy drinks, not of coffee, because those exacerbate anxiety as well. Even sugar intake as well, because the more energy foods in the system will also mean that someone may actually not be able to handle the worry or the anxiety. Healthy sleep hygiene is another very good way of supporting your system to remain healthy, that the brain is able to relax and get enough sleep so that then you're able to handle the stress. Learning to be in your space, be yourself, do your things within your limit, do things for yourself, not do things for other people. Just allow yourself to be okay, not compare yourself, and also having a spirit of gratitude as well. Being able to know what works in your life, what you're happy about, not constantly focusing on what is not working, because that will cause you to worry. And understanding that there's always going to be something that you need to better in your life. So the question would be, who are you becoming? As and Mercy, not compared to other people, and how do you keep within your space? Other helpful ways may include such things like mindfulness, when you mind what you're doing. A deep breathing, what we call even diaphragmic breathing or belly breathing. When people are anxious, they actually do very shallow breathing. So, and breathing has a way of relaxing you and dissipating the anxiety. Yoga, a very powerful technique. Meditation, prayer, all these are things. And having a quiet time, they will help them to preempt the worry, the anxiety that they pick from everyday stresses that otherwise accumulated would actually cause them to now start having anxiety disorders. All the breathing techniques that will help people to relax, we need to make the exhalation longer. And the science behind that, when the exhalation is longer, it causes the mind and the body to relax. There are quite a number where you can even do 4-4, and then the next time you do 4-6. For the 4-7-8 technique, you will breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, and then hold the air for 7 seconds, then blow out the air through the mouth forcefully for 8 seconds. Ready?
Yes.
I'll count for you. Let's go. In. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Out through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Good. How does that feel?
Very calming and relaxing. All of a sudden I forget everything around me.
Thank you, because as you're doing that, I also noticed you just focus on the breathing. You're not focusing on your thoughts, you're not focusing on what is in your environment. You just feel the air go in and the air being held and the air flowing out. Then ensure that you repeat 3 cycles. Then for these techniques to work, make them a lifestyle. Keep repeating it. That is how your system learns and adopts, and that is how you get the benefits. Not do it today and then 2 weeks after now. It has no benefit whatsoever. And there are form of treatments, even after trying these lifestyle changes we have talked about, and then the anxiety is not dissipating, then we recommend that someone may seek a psychotherapy or talk therapy, where they will be taken through techniques that we normally use, for example, cognitive behavioral therapy, where as a therapist you're able to pick the anxious thoughts or the thoughts that are triggering this anxiety. Examples would be where somebody may just have generalized thoughts that they are a failure in all situations in their life. So whatever situation they go into, they have a lot of fear, they have a lot of anxiety of not doing well. Some people sort of live in a fantasy world that also causes them a lot of anxiety, and therapists are able to take them through thought distortions that would help them be supported better, or even behavioral techniques that they can be coached on that would help them overcome the anxiety. There's also medical support, where also they can seek psychiatrist help, who would prescribe antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications to help them dissipate the anxiety, where they are not even able to sleep well, they are not even able to function or go about their work, then the medication would support them. But it is important that we mention that it is good that people combine both form of treatments, not just do the medications alone, but combine medications and psychotherapy, so that then when the medication is tapered off, then they have learned the healthy coping lifestyles, and they have learned to distort their negative thoughts that are maintaining the anxiety, and therefore they are able to go about their life in a healthy way.
The anxiety can keep going and keep living, and there's hope. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, and Mercy, for having joined me on this set. It was exciting to hear the concerns that you have raised, especially for the young people with the social media anxiety. And I hope you'll be able to share with quite a number, and probably also normalize their anxiety. Viewers, the techniques and the lifestyle coping mechanisms we have mentioned today will only work if you're using them consistently to dissipate the anxiety or manage any anxiety that we could be going through. Remember, in mental health, prevention is always better than cure. See you in our next episode.